My mother was the Queen for a very long time. And although you kind of know that this might happen, you don't really think about it very much. Not least of all because the monarchy is about continuity. But I think for my brother, this is something he's been waiting for. And he's probably spent more time thinking about it. For the rest of us, it's more a question of, okay, we have to shift the way we support. And that's what we need to do.
At 73, Princess Anne has finally spilled the tea about who got under her skin all these years. Yeah, after decades of keeping her true feelings under wraps, the truth is finally out. But who could possibly be on her royal hit list? Is it someone from her past, a high-profile figure, or someone closer than we think? Princess Anne's early days. Born on August 15, 1950, at Clarence House in London, Princess Anne entered the world as the only daughter of Queen Elizabeth and Prince Philip, the Duke of Edinburgh. At the time, she was third in line for the throne, behind her mother and older brother Charles, who now sits on the throne as King Charles III. But after her grandfather passed away in 1952 and her mother took the crown, Anne quickly moved up to second place in line to the royal throne. But even from the beginning, Princess Anne had a completely different upbringing than her brothers. While Charles and Andrew were at the center of the spotlight, Anne was all about business. Duty was all she seemed to care about from a young age. While her brothers were always caught up in royal drama or seeking attention, Anne was focused on her royal responsibilities. Unsurprisingly, this endless dedication shaped her lifelong commitment to public service. So, after excelling at Benenden School and graduating in 1968, Anne wasted no time. At just 18, she dove into her royal duties with a passion that set her apart. In fact, in an interview in 1985, she said that it was more meaningful to her than attending university. You can tell that, despite growing up in a world of wealth and luxury, Anne's focus has always been on serving her country, and she's kept it real, avoiding the glitz and glamour that often comes with royal life. She's even known for saying, "It's not what you wear, it's how you live your life." That's a message that has resonated with both the public and her royal peers. Now, did you know Princess Anne takes on more official duties than any other royal? Over 500 a year. Yep, you heard that right. So yeah, she's always attending more events than most people can handle in a week, and she's doing it every single day. From attending charity events to representing the Queen at state functions, her schedule is literally a roller coaster ride. And still, you would never hear her complain about it. That's some serious dedication. One of her first major public appearances came in 1969 when, at 18, she opened an educational center in Shropshire. Since then, her commitment hasn't faltered. With over 200 organizations under her patronage, she's not just showing up, she's making an impact. One standout example is her work with Save the Children, where she's rolled up her sleeves to help in some of the world's most dangerous locations. In fact, her tireless efforts earned her a Nobel Peace Prize nomination in 1990. How's that for dedication? But what really makes Princess Anne a favorite among the royalists? Well, it's her sharp wit and down-to-earth approach. You see, she brings a breath of fresh air to the otherwise stiff royal public appearances. Like, she always seems relatable and doesn't take herself too seriously. But that doesn't mean her life is free of royal drama. Frankly speaking, if you've been keeping up with the royals, you would know that the British royal family is always under the public microscope. It's a mix of their own choices, media spin, and society's fascination with them. Sure, they're royals with well-known names, but some manage to stir up controversy more than others. Scandals, messy divorces, or just saying the wrong thing can shift public opinion in an instant. And yet, through it all, Princess Anne stands out, balancing her private life and royal role with grit and composure. In 1974, when she was just 23, Anne faced something shocking, a full-blown kidnapping attempt. On her way home from a charity event with her then-husband, Captain Mark Phillips, they were attacked by a gunman named Ian Ball. Now, Ball wasn't messing around. Like, he literally took down Anne's driver, Jim Beaton, her security guard, and even an unlucky reporter who tried to help. So what was his plan? Take Princess Anne hostage for a ransom of £2 million. But Anne, with nerves of steel, responded, "Not bloody likely." Her bravery cemented her as a royal rock, not just for the public but for her family, especially for her beloved nephews, Princes William and Harry. Which brings us to Harry's marriage to Meghan Markle, a union that Anne reportedly had her doubts about. Meghan Markle. When Meghan Markle, the Duchess of Sussex, entered the scene, she was already a household name from her role on Suits and her humanitarian work. To many, her romance with Harry felt like a real-life fairy tale, breaking royal traditions and bringing a fresh sense of diversity to the royal family. But this fairy tale soon turned complicated. Tensions between Meghan and the royals grew, and by early 2020, Harry and Meghan made headlines by stepping down from their senior roles in a media frenzy dubbed Megxit. Did Meghan really know what she was signing up for when she joined the royal family? Well, In an interview with ABC, she shared her excitement about her new role, eager to make a difference and connect with people across the UK. In fact, she even mentioned that she hadn't done much research on Harry or his family before dating him, preferring to trust what he said over what was written. Although Meghan grew up in America with a more fairy tale view of royalty, she was quickly hit by the reality of the British monarchy's rules and expectations. Coming to Princess Anne, she was skeptical about Meghan from day one. TV host Deborah Davies claimed that Anne, much like her late father Prince Philip, didn't buy into Meghan's charm. The royal family's formal events, like Harry and Meghan's wedding, saw Anne visibly unimpressed. Even though Meghan initially charmed the public, her Hollywood background and American culture clashed with traditional royal customs. As tabloid gossip and rumors painted Meghan as troublesome, public opinion began to waver. When Prince Philip passed away in April 2021, Anne's grief was on full display. Meghan, who was pregnant with her daughter Lilibet, couldn't attend the service. Reports hinted that some in the royal family were relieved, fearing Meghan's presence could lead to a media circus. But the media's fascination with Meghan only intensified, especially after her candid Oprah Winfrey interview. Meghan shared her struggles, speaking openly about feeling isolated, unsupported, and even facing racism. She revealed heartbreaking conversations within the family about her son's skin color, bringing to light the pressures she endured. So here's the big question. Is the royal fairy tale worth the price when it comes with so much scrutiny? As we've seen, the royal spotlight can reveal cracks even in the strongest of fairy tales, but it's Anne's resilience and clear sense of purpose that make her one royal who manages to stay grounded through it all. So, when Meghan Markle's story shook the royal family, it opened up a worldwide conversation about race, mental health, and the issues the royals tend to keep under wraps. And, interestingly, Princess Anne's early doubts about Meghan's fit in the royal family now seem all too relevant. According to royal commentator Neil Sean, Anne gave Meghan some blunt advice. Treat being a princess as a job, not a spotlight for attention. Apparently, Meghan was taken aback by this straightforward advice, but Anne's message was clear. Being a royal is a full-time commitment with a lot of showing up and giving back. Lady Colin Campbell shared this sentiment, claiming Anne had warned Harry not to marry Meghan, saying she found Meghan self-centered. This insight adds another twist to the royal drama. After Queen Elizabeth's passing, Harry, Meghan, William, and Catherine united briefly in September 2022 outside Windsor Castle. But while the gesture was meant to be a show of unity, body language experts picked up on a lot of tension between the pairs, underscoring the ongoing strain since Harry and Meghan's interview with Oprah. And here's something you might not know. Princess Anne's rocky relationships didn't start with Meghan. She also had a famously frosty relationship with Princess Diana. Princess Diana. These two royals couldn't have been more different. Diana was beloved as the people's princess, with her compassion and down-to-earth charm making her a global icon. From her marriage to Charles in 1981, Diana captured the world's heart, not only with her charisma, but with her tireless humanitarian work. From raising awareness about HIV/AIDS to her famous campaign against landmines. But while Diana was adored for her openness, her relationship with Anne was a different story. Anne didn't take to Diana's more glamorous, media-friendly approach. Diana was great at using the press to shine a light on her causes, but to Anne, the media frenzy seemed out of place for a royal. Anne preferred a more restrained, traditional approach to her role and was reportedly uneasy with Diana constantly being the center of attention. Their differences even seeped into family matters. When Diana's first son, Prince William, was born, many assumed that Anne would be his godmother, but Diana had other plans, opting not to choose her for either William or Harry's godparents. For Harry, Diana picked Prince Andrew instead, which added another layer to the already complicated relationship. Besides this, Diana's modern take on royal responsibilities often clashed with Anne's old-school approach, and royal insiders claimed Anne struggled to connect with Diana's progressive views. In the 1980s, while Anne was out there clocking more public engagements than anyone, the press had its gaze fixed squarely on Diana. Even when Anne embarked on a U.S. royal tour, the media buzz back home was all about Diana, who was just days away from giving birth to Prince William. Journalists kept questioning Anne, asking how she felt about being overshadowed by her sister-in-law's popularity. In fact, when a reporter told Princess Anne about Prince William's birth on June 23, 1982, her response was a simple, understated, "Oh, good." Naturally, the media ran with this, painting her as a sour puss. Still, Diana tried to squash the feud rumors in a 1985 interview. She complimented Anne's dedication to the Save the Children Fund, calling any reports of rivalry tabloid fodder. After Diana's tragic passing in 1997, Anne reportedly felt genuine sadness, admitting that she hadn't fully appreciated how tough it was for Diana to be in the spotlight. conflict. So was it simply a personality clash or something more? Either way, these royal tensions reveal just how much tradition and change can clash within even the most iconic families. Similarly, for Cherie Blair, wife of former Prime Minister Tony Blair, it was less a feud and more a clash of personalities with Princess Anne. Cherie Blair. Cherie is a prominent human rights lawyer with a reputation for social justice. Still, she's no stranger to controversy. Now, when she entered the political limelight as the Prime Minister's spouse from 1997 to 2007, her outspoken nature was often at odds with the traditional expectations of a First Lady. No wonder, Cherie's interactions with Princess Anne were famously tense, starting with their awkward first meeting at Balmoral in 1997. In her memoir, Cherie recalls asking Anne to call her by her first name rather than Mrs. Blair. Anne's response: "I'd rather not. That's not how I was raised," to which Cherie quipped back, "What a shame," perfectly highlighting their personality clash. Cherie's relationship with the royals was further strained by her dislike for royal customs. She reportedly wasn't thrilled with Balmoral's drafty rooms, the early morning bagpipes, and, of all things, the no-pants rule. On her first visit, she wore pants to lunch, shocking the Queen Mother. She also ruffled feathers with Princess Margaret, the Queen's sister known for her sharp wit. These faux pas likely deepened Anne's skepticism about Cherie's diplomatic intentions. If you thought things might have improved between them over time, turns out they didn't. For instance, during the Queen's Golden Jubilee in 2002, Cherie experienced another brush-off when she tried to greet Princess Anne, only to feel completely blanked. But Anne's icy side wasn't limited to Cherie Blair. Sarah Ferguson, Duchess of York, also felt it. Sarah Ferguson. Known affectionately as Fergie, Sarah has always been an unconventional royal, with her background as an author, philanthropist, and TV personality. What's more, she has quite the royal lineage, tracing her roots back to King Charles II through 3 of his children from different relationships. However, the public truly took notice of her when she married Prince Andrew, Queen Elizabeth II's second son and King Charles III's younger brother. After their 1986 wedding, Andrew received the title Duke of York, making Sarah the Duchess of York. Together, they welcomed 2 daughters, Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie. So how did Sarah end up having a tumultuous relationship with the royal family? You see, Sarah was very popular for her lively and friendly personality, a visible contrast to the often reserved royal family members. Her charisma and sense of humor drew people in, but her unfiltered style didn't always mesh with the royal family's traditions. No wonder Princess Anne found herself at odds with Sarah's more carefree approach, especially during the early years of Sarah's marriage. In fact, Anne's straightforward and reserved style sparked stories of cold encounters and public tension. Royal photographer Steve Wood observed that Anne often felt overshadowed by Sarah's media-savvy nature, once saying in frustration, "Even though I work hard every day, I never make the news." Meanwhile, Sarah's public missteps, from struggles with the press to controversial financial decisions, only intensified the differences between them. Anne, deeply committed to protecting the monarchy's reputation, couldn't see eye to eye with Sarah, whose image was frequently tarnished by scandal. As her marriage to Prince Andrew began to unravel, so did Sarah's standing within the royal circle. What had once seemed like a lively love story grew distant. But was it really as bad as everyone says? Yep, Sarah even later revealed that they used to spend only about 40 days a year together in the first 5 years. By 1991, rumors swirled about Sarah's close friendship with Texan billionaire Steve Wyatt, especially after photos surfaced of Wyatt spending time with Sarah's young daughter. Unsurprisingly, Andrew and Sarah announced their separation in January 1992, which was legally formalized just 2 months later. Following the split, Sarah moved into a separate home at Radnor Lodge on the Wentworth estate, establishing a life away from the royal spotlight. The palace stated she would no longer represent the Queen at public events, and the Queen clarified that Ferguson's expenses would not be covered by the royal family. But the scandal didn't end there. In August 1992, the Daily Mirror published compromising photos of Sarah with American financial manager John Bryan. The images sparked a media firestorm, further damaging Sarah's reputation. Paris Match, a French magazine, ended up paying $84,000 in damages for releasing the images, but the damage to Sarah's image and her relationship with the royal family was already done. In fact, Princess Margaret, Prince Andrew's aunt, sent Ferguson a blunt letter expressing disappointment and saying she had made the family look worse than she expected. By April 1996, Andrew and Ferguson had finalized their divorce, putting an official end to their turbulent marriage. But did it get any better for Sarah after this? Well, no. At this point, Ferguson faced significant financial difficulties. She initially expected an annual allowance allowance of around $15,000, but she received a $350,000 cash settlement, $500,000 from the Queen to buy a home for herself and her daughters, and a monthly allowance, which reportedly rose to about $500,000 by 2010. Despite the split, Ferguson and Andrew have remained unusually close, continuing to live together and attend family events side by side, which has fueled ongoing speculation about their relationship. Their unique bond, maintained despite the drama surrounding their marriage, shows how they've navigated a lasting connection even after their formal ties ended. Determined to reinvent herself, Ferguson has now shifted her focus to charity work, public speaking, and writing. She has worked hard to establish her own identity while remaining loosely tied to the royal family. Yet, Princess Anne's tense relationships extend beyond royal family members, as another notable figure had a clash with her, Donald Trump. So, what did Trump do to face Princess Anne's wrath? In December 2019, during NATO's 70th anniversary summit at Buckingham Palace, Princess Anne made headlines with an unexpected moment. As Queen Elizabeth II greeted President Donald Trump and First Lady Melania Trump, she glanced toward Anne, who stood a little distance away. The Queen seemed to signal for Anne to join, but Anne simply shrugged, smiled, and gestured as if to say, "It's just me." The gesture quickly went viral, with many interpreting her shrug as a subtle critique of the summit's formality or a statement on Trump himself. However, the true story behind the viral moment is less dramatic. According to Laura Stone from the Press Association, the Queen had only looked at Anne to confirm who was next in line, as Trump was the last person she would greet. So, Anne's shrug was merely a lighthearted response and not a political statement. Though the incident was misinterpreted, it underscores how Anne's straightforward manner can sometimes be taken the wrong way. And speaking of misinterpretations, her interactions with Camilla, the Queen Consort, are just as intriguing. Camilla, the Queen Consort. The friendship between Princess Anne and Camilla has been shaped by years of personal and royal challenges, making it one of the more layered relationships within the royal family. Early on, their connection was strained by Anne's past with Andrew Parker Bowles, Camilla's first husband. Yes, in the 1970s, Andrew was at the center of a love triangle with Anne and Camilla. The development reflects a larger trend within the royal family, where personal histories, public expectations, and evolving responsibilities continuously reshape relationships. Thanks for watching the video. Which of these Princess Anne's clashes did you find most intriguing? Let us know in the comments below. If you liked the video, make sure to give us a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more entertaining videos like this. See you in the next one.